Now you speak about casinos. So let us understand in what category they fall under the category of chance. Now, what happened when the Public Gambling Act came? A few states adopted it the way it was. A few states made changes where they wanted, according. And in that category fell Goa, Sikkim, and Daman and Diu. Why? Because Goa had the history that it was not able to attract tourists, and it was turning out to be poor on its revenue and everything. So the idea was, let's do something which attracts tourists and also a lot of revenue. So the state amended the act and they included casino to be operated. They had this criteria that initially when they started off, that roulette or slot machine games were in the 5-star hotels. Other games were on the offshore vessels. I mean the big cruises and the ships in the water or the rivers to be played. Yeah, but right now, how are they operating is they operate by way of licenses. The government of that state is allowing them to operate, but very recently it also stated that the residents of those states cannot participate in the casino games. So no resident of Goa, Sikkim, or say in the case of, can go inside a casino. If they go and if they are caught, they are put behind the bars. So it was only with the intention to increase the revenue and not create an addiction towards the people who are living there. Does not affect the mindset. This is how casinos have been operating in Goa, Sikkim, Daman and Diu. And the licenses are there. There is huge amount of money that is paid to the government by way of taxes, by way of loyalties, everything, and a very strict vigilance is kept. Let me tell you, been to quite a few casinos, and I've seen how the police does a very great surveillance there. So this is very clear that though casinos are operating, but the regime is very strict. And if you have ever noticed, or you will come to see that whenever there is elections in these particular states, this chapter of casinos will be definitely taken up by either sides of the parties, and they will speak on it. Yeah, a very important agenda of these states. Yeah, that is about casinos. Let's move ahead. So now if you speak about poker has been equated almost with rummy. Why? Both are card games, and they're almost very similar in nature. Okay, so how did poker become legal? By way of the judgments of rummy. Then there are a couple of judgments which have happened in both of them have happened in Calcutta. One is before the Calcutta High Court, other is before the Circuit Bench, Jalpaiguri. Yeah, where IPA, which is Indian Poker Association, where they play live poker. So the West Bengal Gambling Act very clearly speaks that poker is a game of skill. And now what has happened in both these cases, roughly, that the police went and raided the place and harassed the people and said, hey, you cannot play poker, all illegal, and put them behind bars. So the IPA's head KN Suresh, very active man in the gaming industry, went ahead and filed his applications, and both the times he won the case, where the courts have very clearly said that, hey, this is a piece of legislation. The legislation exempts poker, and agencies cannot raid people when they are playing for recreational purposes, when there is no such evidence of illegality around it. So that is how poker is relevant, and the West Bengal state giving it the sanction allows it to be so. Yeah. So this is why poker, if you see, is being played online with maximum operators, and is absolutely legit as long as you don't create intentionally wagering around it. And there is no sense of wagering here because it has been put under the real money gaming sector. That means you can pay to play because it has already been given the status of a gaming skill. Let's move ahead. This is one of them, Suresh versus State of West Bengal. I think this is 15 judgment, followed by 2019, and this IPA judgment of Karnataka is also valid. You again, it was by IPA, and there also, when I said that in Karnataka, for a very long period of time, poker was all doing very well until that amendment hit in 2021. Everything was fine. So it was again with the efforts of the Indian Poker Association that the court had said that they have taken the authorized person's permission, and nobody is supposed to harass somebody until and unless it is illegal or there are elements of some illegality. So all of these judgments have favored very long. And see, one state of High Court, if gives such judgment, any state be it has a lot of relevance, at least till the High Court. And if you move into the Supreme Court, you have a judgment of the High Court saying this game is legal. Yeah, so that makes a lot of difference. Let's move ahead. Again, this state has been very interesting. So in Gujarat, what has happened that Gujarat decided that we will not allow anything to be called game of skills. So in Gujarat, there is nothing called as gaming. Okay? Everything falls under the category of gambling. So this judgment is still pending. If you read the Dominance Games Private Limited, another major player in this industry, it is still under appeal, and we are waiting to see what happens. Because if given the way of developments that have happened in this industry, if Gujarat bench understands the case, it can be a turning point. But as of today, it says nothing is gaming, everything is gambling. Yeah. Horse race betting is defined as a gaming act. It is defined as a legal act under Article 19(1)(g) by way of the Chambul Bagwala case, which is one of the leading Bible judgment of this industry, where they have said, yeah, because what is happening, if you read that judgment, it says that there is so much of experience, training, adroitness that is going around. The person is not just playing just without any skill, right? Hence, horse betting has a legal sanction. Yeah, so that's what I've pasted the case law for you. You guys can, it's by way of K.R. Lakshmanan. And it says superior knowledge, training, attention, adroitness, experience. And these 4-5 words are enough to define and to discriminate or to understand if it follows the line of skill. If it follows the line of skill, money can be put around it, right? Similarly, that's what's happening for rummy, that's what's happening for poker and all other games, right? If it involves skill, it's allowed. Let's move ahead. So if you guys see now, there are fantasy sports which are also getting into horse betting. Yeah, because it has a legal status. But there are very few such Indian companies who are doing it. But yes, you will definitely hear about the upcoming companies getting into horse betting also. Now, do not confuse sports betting with gaming where money is put into it. No, sports betting is absolutely different from real money gaming, fantasy, esports, whatever other category that you've understood of. Sports betting is where you are betting on the outcome, right? Where there is no intention of looking at the skill, it is mere and sheer luck. That is what is looked at. So that is where the Public Gambling Act uses the word betting and wagering, and it rules it out totally. Okay. However, there was this very famous report of the Law Commission of India, which said that we can think of betting to be legalized for the revenue and the again, empowerment that it might bring, employment that it might bring. However, it has not been legalized in India, except where we see in that case of Sikkim, Goa, Daman and Diu. They have adopted it by way of state, and there's a lot of regime around it. But yeah, I'll read the last few lines for you. The All India Gaming Federation versus Union of India in 2017, the Supreme Court refused to entertain a plea seeking the legalization of sport betting in India. The court held that since gambling and betting are matters that fall within the legislative domain of the state, the central government cannot issue a direction to legalize them. This line also answers somebody asked a question on the same line. Yeah. So that is what the nature of sports betting is. If you are putting it under PGA, go and speak to your state. And more so, it doesn't have a legal sanctity in India by way of PGA. And those states have adopted it. They have adopted it under the PGA. Very, very clear stand. Where India and the Indian people are getting confused is by way of these international online betting websites that have come in India. And that is where all the confusion has arisen. That is where a number of litigations and bills have been filed. And it has led to make Indian people think at large. Even we lawyers get confused to discriminate of what is falling under the category of gaming, what is a game of skill, what is sports betting. That is the reason. That is why the government of India released a huge list of such sporting websites, sports betting website, and they were banned, and they were majorly from China. So that list was issued again in the time it happened all during 2020, 2022. Okay.